Murder Drones, the show that put glitch productions on the map while Digital Circus made it into what it is today. Murder Drones put glitch productions on the map, taking the world by storm and the internet by storm. In fall of 2021, when it was first released, it has gone on to garner tons of popularity and an adoring legion of fans. It is personally my favorite show, but I just have to ask the question, is it actually peak? Well, let's grab our sick as hell railguns and journey to the core of Copper 9 while we disassemble the show's quality in particularly three categories: animation, characters, and music, because those were the aspects that stood out to me the most. I hope you stick around. This is going to be a lot of fun. Now, one of the first things I'd like to talk about murder drones, especially when talking about how high quality it is the animation. Right from the pilot, you can see that this is high quality, not just for an indie studio, but for any animation studio. So much work was put into this, and it shows. Another thing that's pretty interesting, and that's like kind of like, yeah, I get it when you look at it, is the fact that this was inspired by Tim Burton movies, or the animation was inspired by Tim Burton movies. The kind of more cutesy character designs contrasting with the overall darker and more violent nature of the show. Another thing that I really like is not just how the animation tells a story, like tells the story itself. I mean, like how the character designs and the colors are all kind of darker, contrasting with a little bit of light, really giving a, like, I guess darker feel to it, but the character faces are so expressive. I absolutely love it. And the fact that they have like visors for faces and are able to show like emoticons and stuff like that is a really unique and really fun idea, and I absolutely love it. Another area that I really like the animation in is the fights. Oh my gosh, does it make the fights look awesome! The stylized, hyper violent, just frenetic and fast paced nature, it's so fluid and it just moves together just so well and absolutely seamlessly. No complaints about the animation. I absolutely love it. One of the best aspects of the show. 10 out of 10 in my opinion. Hey guys, this is Editor Me. I was editing this and then I realized there are segments I forgot to record. I also need to talk about the lore and story as well as the comedy on top of what I already mentioned I was going to talk about. Anyways, back to the review. The next part I'd like to talk about is probably personally my second favorite part of the show, and that is the lore and story. It is absolutely layered. Watching this kind of reminded me of like FNAF or Undertale, in the sense that there is so much going on below the surface or in the background. And I can only imagine, because came into the fandom really late, 2 weeks after the final episode came out, all of the theories, the absolutely wild theories that there were as the show was running. And yeah, it is really layered, and I'm going to be honest, it suffers a little bit for it, in my opinion. It feels a little rushed near the end, in my opinion. Uh, it could have easily done with another episode or two to explain and to pace things out better. I did hear about Liam having to rewrite the show when he got closer to the end, and I'm going to be honest, it kind of shows. That's just my opinion. Um The story, though, is very unique, and overall, despite my gripes about it, it is still very well done and extremely creative. You can tell that there was a lot of love put into this. The mystery, the pervasive mystery and air of dread throughout the whole series is absolutely amazing. And another thing is despite being rushed and layered, it doesn't ever feel convoluted or completely out of nowhere in the sense that it's bad writing and we're just doing this because screw you. The other thing I'd like to highlight about the story is the fact that it never feels boring or uninteresting. There is always some sort of development or something cool happening on screen, ensuring that it will hold your attention. It certainly held mine, and it's a pretty short show on top of it being fast paced. Now, one of the last key elements that I'd like to discuss before I discuss my favorite element of the show is the music. Oh my gosh, the music for the show is absolutely great. The majority of it takes inspiration from the 80s and has like a very synth and electric pop that you would have heard, especially with like the hard bass in songs like Get Prommed and both versions of Forever sounds very 80s. The s- disassembly required tracks and uh, the Solver Uzi tracks have a very like electronic industrial 80s sound to them. The music is also very much like the show. It's frenetic, it's futuristic, and it's violent. Like the bass, boom, 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 and all the electronic sounds in songs like Knife Dance, but you can also tell that it has a very early 2000s energy. And oh my gosh, does just all of Murder Drones have a very early 2000s energy. The humor is very much like Invader Zim or like the Helliverse shows like Has Been Hurt Hotel or Hell of a Boss if you've ever seen them. Anyways, I digress. Bite Me, probably the most famous theme from the track, is has a very early 2000s sound for it. Like this is early 2000s personified. It's nightcore, it's hard rock, and it is an absolute treat to listen to. If you haven't heard Bite Me, I highly recommend you go listen to it. Before we go any further, I'd like to mention this is the first video I am recording and editing on a laptop, and I hope it shows. Please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. We are trying to get to 1 million views before the year is up. So without further ado, the video. The action and horror, two very prominent elements in Murder Drones. You know, you'd think being animated and a comedy that a show couldn't have genuinely effective horror. Oh boy, you'd be wrong. The Absolute Solver is one of the freakiest, most out of left field things that I ever remember seeing. Like, I remember she whips around and goes, "Get snuck up on" at the end of the seventh episode, and I'm like, what the hell is even that? Like, I recoiled away from the screen. I was not expecting that. The human genocide, like, good lord, that was completely out of nowhere for me as well. The body horror. It's so well done. The blend of flesh and cybernetics, it's just, oh my gosh, it's so unique and it's so well done, and I absolutely love it. The action, the action as well. Oh my gosh, the action is just great. It is frenetic, it's hyper violent, very fast paced, and just oh so much fun. I cannot get enough of the fight scenes from the show. Whether it's with blades or a freaking pickaxe, Uzi's sick as hell railgun, or the telekinetic powers, it's always just so much fun to watch. Now, that being said, one of the episodes in the show that doesn't have hardly any action in it is Episode 5, Home. I am of the opinion that this is a misunderstood masterpiece. Yeah, there is a pretty big lore drop in this one, but you just gotta pay attention. And if you pay attention, really, it all makes sense. I don't know, this might be 20 plus rewatches of the show talking, but I think episode 5 is a misunderstood masterpiece, and I absolutely love it. Now, before we get to my favorite element of the show, I would like to discuss another, the comedy. The comedy is a blend of a lot of different things. It's dark, it's meta, and it's absurd. Like, dark, absurdist, and meta commentary are the primary forms of comedy that this show uses. And for the most part, the comedy really hits. The jokes that made me laugh the first time around, for the most part, still make me laugh. Uh, the 20th time around. I've seen the show well over 20 times now. My gosh. I will say though, some of the meta comedy, I've complained about this in some of my other videos, doesn't really hit for me. Doing something dumb, making a dumb joke, and then going, haha, look at that dumb thing that we did. Wasn't that dumb? Doesn't make you really smart. So, in my opinion, the meta comedy just kind of drags it down a little bit. But overall, I really like the comedy. Now, the final and probably the most standout aspect of the show is the characters. The characters are so well fleshed out, unless you're Doll or Jay. RIP Doll and Jay screen time. I digress. Ah, my gosh, I love the characters. En and Uzi, the main characters of the show. En is essentially the local golden retriever, and Uzi is the socially awkward kid that ends up getting superpowers and is a killer. One thing that's interesting is that Uzi both embodies the final girl trope in slasher movies, but is also the slasher herself in episode 4. So I just thought that was interesting. The main villain, Sinessa, the absolute solver, Tessin. This character has a million freaking names given by the community at this point. I can't keep track of all of them. But the main villain is my favorite character in all of fiction, and she is just so much fun to watch. I really, though, like, this is more of a complaint directed at the community. The silly aspect of her is played up so much in the community that I feel like it almost drags down or undersells what a terrifying villain she is. That's just my opinion. I still do enjoy the silly aspect of her. I feel as though it's just played up a bit too much sometimes. So, guys, that was my review of Murder Drones. And to sum it up, as a if I'm looking at it critically, I give it an 8 out of 10. But in my heart, Murder Drones is and always will be a 10 out of 10. We love Murder Drones forever. This was my first video done on a laptop, recording and editing on a laptop. I really hope that the quality showed, that it really showed that this was the first video I did on a laptop. I had a lot of fun doing this. It's about 3 in the morning as I'm recording this. I started this at about 7. This took me an awfully long time to make. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe for more. We are trying to get to a million videos, not a million videos, a million views by the end of the year. And I think we can do it. I just need you guys' help. Also, go follow me on TikTok and join the channel Discord. That is in the description for the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.